will be seeing these concepts like assessment of duty is consist of article liable to pay different rate of duties. That means where when you import goods, okay, sometimes what happens, the goods will remain the same, but the tax rate may vary. Like example, in case of your electricity consumption, for a particular unit, you will be having the per unit will be same. Okay, once you crosses that particular unit, your rate of tax will get vary. Okay, so like that, the same way when you import goods also, it will vary. Okay, so what are the types of, if the goods are varying, then how they will consider the import duty, that we will see now. Okay, so assessment of duty when the goods consist of articles liable to different rates is covered under your section 19 of your Customs Act. Okay, so the first one is quantity based duty. Quantity based duty means example, gold. If you take gold can be imported from other countries to a particular level. After that, you will be charged. If you are traveling in a flight, 30 kgs can be taken as a free. Above 30 kg will be taxable. That means you need to pay some charge for that. Okay, so you can put the custom duty based on the quantity which you are getting it from outside the country. Okay, that is the first one. Second one is in case of article liable to duty with reference to the values. Reference to the values is at what rate you are getting the goods from the other rate. Okay, suppose if you are buying an article, okay, at the same rate, okay, in that case the interest will be charged based on the rates. Okay, otherwise, if you are buying any goods at two different rates, in that case, the highest rate will be chargeable for your custom duty. Okay, that is the second point. Third one, value of articles liable to different rates. Liable to different rate is, suppose if you are exporting any goods from outside the country, okay, so for that particular article, you are having two different rates. Okay, maybe sometimes what happens, suppose if you take a mobile phones, okay, so for a mobile phones you will have one particular rate, but the same mobile phones, if it is having any inbuilt features, so in that case it will be having different rates. Okay, so in those cases the product will be valued different. Okay, the mobile phones will be same, but as per the model or as per the feature which is inbuilt, the rate of the mobile phones will vary. Okay, so that is the third condition. So your rates, customs rates can be classified based on the features what you have it on that particular goods can also be different, will be classified as per the rates. Okay, so whether the mobile phones is used for only for calling purpose, the rate will be different. If it has any special features, then the rates will be different. So the rates can be based on the quality or based on the value which is having. Okay, and the last one is your accessories and spare parts. Sometimes the goods sometimes you will be importing any manufacturing goods in the sense machineries or something you will be importing. So for that machineries you might import any spare parts or repairing articles you might be importing. So in that case, whatever the repairing articles or whatever the spare parts which you are importing from other countries, okay, so that will be charged or that will be that will be charged under the custom duty as per the custom duties rates. Okay, that is known as accessories and spare parts. So basically accessories and spare parts will be charged as per the Custom Duties Act. Okay, so these are the assessment of duties under the different rates for the goods. Okay, first one we are talking about the quantity which you are getting. Okay, so for certain quantity you will be exempted from tax. Above that particular quantity you will be charged duties. Okay, it is the first category. Second, it is in terms of article. Okay, if the article is of same rate, then the rate will be charged at the rate which is imported. If it is two different rates, then the highest rate will be taken for the tax rate. Okay. Then third one, it talks about the manufacturing of goods with different features of phones. In that case, based on the features or based on the product, the custom duties will vary. Okay. And the last one is where the accessories or maintenance for any repairing purpose, then the custom duties will be based on the article which is imported. Okay. So this is based on the accessories of duties. Okay. Next one is your re-importation of goods manufactured in India. That means you have exported some goods, okay, but again you are importing the same goods from other countries. So in that case, what are the taxes which you are liable to pay for the re-importing of goods, we will see. And this will cover under your section 20 of your Customs Act. Okay, so what are the provisions which is available for the re-importing of goods? We will see now. Okay, so the first provision is whenever you are doing the re-importation of duties, you are supposed to pay the import duty first. Whether it is for importing of goods, whether it is for exporting of goods, or whether it is for re-importing of goods, the first and foremost duty is you are supposed to pay the import duty. Okay, it is not for any, you will not get any exemption for re-importing. You have to pay the duty for the re-importing also. Okay, so import duty will be charged when you are going for the re-importing of goods. That is the first provision. Okay, and that too, if you have exported the Indian goods, okay, and the same Indian goods is re-imported also, you will be paid the import duty. That is the first provision. Liable for duty, you are supposed to pay the duty. That is the first thing. Second thing is re-importation within 3 years. Suppose you have exported the goods, okay, and again you are re-importing the goods within the 3 years period. In that case also, you are supposed to pay the import duty. Okay, so if there is no exemption for not for exporting the goods, sorry, importing the goods again with the same goods, you will not get any exemptions. For that also, you are supposed to pay the import duty. That is the second one. Third thing is export and bond without payment of the duties. That means you would have exported some goods to outside the country, okay, but when you export, you will be exempted from the excise duty. You will not pay any excise duty because maybe the goods will be from any special economic zones or export promotional zones. You would have manufactured the goods, so you when you are exporting the goods, you would have not paid any duties for that. But if the same good is re-imported means, okay, so in that case, as I told you earlier, whether you are re-importing the goods or whether you are importing the goods, you are supposed to pay the duty, I said. But in this special case, in the sense, exported the goods on the special bond. So under this case, if you are re-importing the goods means there are 3 circumstances based on that you will be charged the import duty. Okay, so the first circumstances is whatever material you are importing. Okay, so the imported material value will be taken for your payment of your customs duty. Okay, so custom duty will be based on the imported value. Okay, that is the first condition. Second condition is whatever goods you are exported. Okay, the exported goods only you are re-importing. So whatever the value of goods you are exported, based on that value, your import duty will be charged. That is the second condition. Third condition is excise duty will be charged based on the place where you are re-importing and the time where you are re-importing. Based on that, your export duty will be charged. So these are the 3 criteria under which your excise duty will be charged under your exporting imports. Clear, students? Any doubt in this? How the re-importing of duty will be charged for the goods? First, import duty will be charged. Second, if you are doing the re-importing within 3 years also, your import duty will be charged. Third, if you are exporting the goods by giving any exemption of the excise duty also, you will be charged import duty based on the three conditions. First condition, based on the import value of the goods. Third, based on the export value of the goods. Okay, and the last one, based on the time and the place where you have imported the goods. Okay, so based on these values, you will be charged the custom duty. Clear, students? Okay. And the last one is how the custom duty will be given for the dereliquent good or rigged goods. So first I will explain what is mean by dereliquent goods or rigged goods. Okay, so dereliquent goods are goods where you will not using that goods. Okay, where you will not take any ownership of those goods. Okay, so those goods we will be considered as a dereliquent goods. Sorry. Sorry. There is people will not take those goods. Money value will be there, but they will suppose, for example, those goods will not be taken by any people. That means we will not take. That is, it will be there in the custom duty without having any ownership or something. So those goods we will consider as a dereliquent goods. Okay, so for a dereliquent, the customs authority will not give any hope for recovering those goods. That is, they will not have any people who will be taking the ownership of those goods will be considered as a dereliquent goods. Okay. Next one is rigged goods. Rigged goods is where the goods are damaged. Okay, where the goods may be damaged because of any seashore happenings, the goods might damage. Okay, so those goods are considered as a rigged goods. Next one is I should say jetsam. Okay, so jetsam is where the goods are thrown from the ship because of the overload of the goods. Okay, because if you are not throwing the goods outside, so in that case your say a ship might sink. Okay, so those scenarios we call it as a jetsam. And next one is flotsam. Flotsam is where this is also a situation where you will be throwing the goods outside the ship. Okay, but why we are throwing the goods outside the ship is to avoid some accidents in the ship travel. So that is known as float ship. Okay, so these are the situations where the goods will not be given any proper duty value. So in those situations, the custom duties will be free. Okay, in case of dereliquent good or in case of rigged goods, the customs duty will not be charged. Okay, so what are the goods which will be covering under these situations will be covered under your section 21 of your Customs Act. So Customs Act has given which are the goods will be coming under dereliquent, or which are the goods will be coming under your rigged goods, or which are the goods will be coming under your floating swam or jet swam will be covering under it. Okay, and if those goods, okay, when the goods are rigged conditions or when the goods are in dereliquent conditions, if those goods are brought into India, okay, so in that case your customs officer will go through these goods and they will be giving a duty free for those goods. Okay, they will not charge any, because if you take off any dereliquent good or big good, there is no use of those goods. Okay, so anyway, in case of dereliquent good, there won't be any person to recover it. Okay, so in that case, we cannot charge any duty for that. And in case of rigged goods, already the goods are damaged. So in that case, for damaged goods, no one will pay the customs duties. So on these two grounds, the customs duties will not be charged. Okay, and when you are importing the goods, you might give the value of the goods, but if the goods are not received to the Indian port, so in that case also the goods will not be paid any customs duties. Okay, so these are the conditions where you will be exempted from the custom duty. Clear, students? Any doubt? Okay. Next. Next, we will see what is the method of valuation of the customs. Next, we will see method of valuation for customs. Okay. So basically, the customs duties will be valued based on your GAT valuation code. Okay, so what is mean by GAT? Any idea? Students? What is mean by, please? Don't know. Okay, so GAT valuation code. What does mean by GAT means? GAT means General Agreement for Tariff and Trade for. It's a full form. Okay, so they will be giving you the what is the rate at which you will be valuing the goods. Okay, so that will be given by this particular agencies, that is known as General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. Okay, so why this GAT has been giving you the valuation for custom duty is so that you will be having a free flow of trade between the countries, so that you will not charge any excess of import duty or export duties will be charged. Okay, so to protect the or to have a free flow of trade between the countries, this GATT agreement was being formed so that you will have a proper flow of export and import between the countries. And basically the tariff value for India will be determined by the central government based on this GATT agreement. Okay, so whatever the GATT rate was being given for the valuation of goods. Okay, so that will be based on the GATT rate only, and GATT rate will value the goods based on the actual goods value which has been sent, or similar goods which has been sent. Based on that, the valuation will be charged. Okay, so when they value the goods based on the GATT value, they will follow certain norms. Okay, the first norm is the valuation of goods will be based on the goods which we are sending. Okay, maybe whatever the goods we are sending, based on that the value will be done. Second, from where you are sending, at what time you are sending, based on that also your customs value will be determined. And second one is nearest accessibilities equivalent value. Nearest accessibility means, suppose if you don't have the actual value of the goods, so in that case the similar value of the similar product value will be taken for the valuation of the custom duty. Suppose if you are importing any luxury cars, okay, of any X and Y model, okay, so in that case the same luxury category car, whatever the custom duty is charged, charged for the X and Y value also. So that is the nearest accessible value. And next one is containing of actual price. Actual price is what is the price which is given in the invoice. Okay, after the discount or after the offers which you are generating. Based on that also, your customs duty will be charged under the GAT valuation. So these are the GAT valuation of goods will be having. Okay, so in India, basically we follow the GAT valuation, and the GAT valuation rules has been framed in the year 1988. Okay, and in the new valuation of rules consist of many independent method of valuing the goods. Okay, and basically we use hierarchical order method. Okay, so under the hierarchical model method, we have different methods of valuation of the goods. Okay, so the first method of valuing the goods under your hierarchical order method is transaction value of same goods. Okay, transaction value of same goods. So this transaction value of same goods cover under your Rule 3 of Customs Act Rule 1988. Under this transaction value of same goods, whatever goods which you are exporting shall be valued at the transaction value. Transaction value means at the price at which you are getting the goods will be valued at the same price. That is actual price or the price at which you are selling. Okay, so based on that, the goods customs duties will be valued. Okay, so when they are valuing the goods also, they also include your brokerage commission, and also they will take any seller's proportion of duty free or concession. All these will be taken care, or if you are paying any license fees or royalty fees for the importers and exporters, or if you are giving any buyer's consideration, all these values will be considered for the valuation of the custom duty when you are exporting the same type of goods. Suppose the transaction values, if you could not able to ascertain, so in that case you will use your hierarchical order method. So under that particular method, you will take what is the actual value of goods, and based on that you will be charging the custom duty. Okay, suppose if you could not able to find out the value of the goods, then in that case you will use the second agreement method to find out the custom duty, and if you could not able to do also, you will use some trial and error methods to find out the valuation of goods. So this is under your transaction value of same goods. So under transaction value of same goods, you will take the invoice price of the goods. Okay, invoice price means the actual price minus your brokerage or your any package cost or any concession, lesser whatever the value you are getting. Based on that, the custom duty will be charged under your first method. Okay, second one is transaction value of identical goods. Okay, so transaction value of identical goods will cover under your Rule 5 of your Customs Valuation 1988. So under this, the transaction value of goods cannot be assigned for your identical goods, but the identical goods has been given under your Customs Act. So the identical goods means where the goods will be having the same similarities in terms of quality or in terms of your characteristics or in terms of replication. So those goods will be considered as identical goods. Okay. So in the identical goods, if the goods has been sending to the same country, so in that case, whatever the identical goods has been charged, the same rate will be charged for the identical goods. So they don't have any separate rate for the identical goods. Whatever the similarity goods rate has been charged, the same rate will be considered for the identical goods also. But there are certain conditions under which the identical goods will be charged under the same rate. The goods which you are importing should have been should be of different quantity. Quantity should be varying, okay, and different commercial levels it has to be same, and the sale at different commercial levels and different quantity should be given. So based on that, the valuation of goods will be determined. Okay, and in tomorrow's lecture, we will be seeing of the transaction value of similar goods. Okay, and then we will see how the valuation for deductible goods and computation of goods method